Hey, hello everyone. Welcome back to the John Deere MT project. We've been doing an awful lot off camera. Been trying to get this all cleaned up without taking this whole front end off, and it's just not. Oh, look at how greasy it is down in there yet. And everywhere I turn around, this tractor having a loader on it made everything just super greasy. It feels like any type of progress I make, I turn around and I just find more grease. It's like, where is it all coming from, and why is there so much, and it's so bad? So anyway, there comes a point in the project where you're like, I'm going to hit it with the pressure washer, see where we're at, and we might just paint over the grease, because I'm running out of patience with this thing. It's taking so long to degrease all of this. But yeah, down in there too, it's so thick and it's everywhere. Anyway, so we're going to go ahead and try pressure washing this and see what we get. So this is your little bit of a before shot. Down in here was really bad because, of course, everything, this line was leaky, so whoop, everything was super soaked. I'm going to try and avoid the electronicals. I'm going to hit this with a wire wheel and be a little more careful on the tower. But goal of this video, hopefully tomorrow, we blow it off today. Tomorrow we'll get this whole thing in primer, maybe minus the front column, because down there is going to take some extra special attention to make that look better. Yeah, I don't know. This there's my nut I was looking for. Good, that's for the alternator generator. And yeah, so we're gonna blow it off and see what we get. Like I say, there's still a long way to go. I still got to do a bunch of body work up here and try and put a little Bondo and filler, and we're not putting the loader back on it. The 3-point needs to be all cleaned up. The hydraulic controls, look at the mess I've made in my shop already. Just trying to get that thing clean, and the drawbar needs cleaned up and painted. But here's why we're not putting the loader back on. At some point, this whole front, when they picked it up, something broke, and it broke right here and right here. She's been pretty heavily repaired, so I really don't want to put that much stress back on this front end. The whole thing's been kind of messed up. That hood was all curled around because when this came back, that front grill bit bent it in. So yeah, this whole thing's been, and that's not what you want. So let's get to work. In all honesty, it's going about as well as I figured it would, so not great. We're going to hit it with some of the Zep foaming citrus cleaner. I've been having pretty good luck with it, hoping that if it's fresh on there, maybe it'll loosen it up enough to, you know, pull it off with the water. I have my doubts, but really just worried about up in here for the most part. I mean, most of this is going to get covered up anyway. Can you even see what I'm looking at? There we go. That's a little better. Let's see what that does. Well, I'm kind of liking what I'm seeing. Down in there definitely looks a lot better. Up in here, like, is an acceptable amount of dirt. I think I can live with that. All this gets covered up with the grill. You really won't even see down in here that well. I cleaned up the shaft there of the crank start pretty good. We'll turn that around. Oh, that whole thing's pretty clean. That was pretty caked on. Honestly, yeah, that's a lot better. That's more what I was kind of hoping for. All right, cool. We're on the right path. Ooh, that thing's starting to leak. I better move before it blows. Well, let's have a look up in here. Got a lot of missing paint, but there was definitely a bunch of grease down in here I couldn't get to real easy. And there's a little bit here and there, but it's not super bad. A little worried about up under here. That looks pretty good. Underneath the oil pan, it's definitely greasy. That was really, there was a lot on there. So yeah, she's definitely doing what I want. So we're just going to keep on going. I don't know how much you saw because the sun's definitely in our eyes, but yeah, up under there's looking a lot better. We definitely had a lot of grease going on. And back here we had a lot of grease. These holes were really filled up. There's still a little bit down in there, but not too bad. Honestly, yeah, for a greasy old tractor, that's not too bad. Get you guys a little before shot back here because this is definitely a bit more to be worried about. Up in there, some heavy stuff. I don't expect all this around the PTO to get cleaned out too well with this, but yeah. All right, let's get it. That didn't do too bad. Down in there cleaned up pretty decent. I have to wipe this all down, and I'm just going to paint over. Up in there is not super bad. We got a little bit we could work on, but yeah, down here where the drawbar was, that was super greasy. Got a lot off. We're looking pretty good. Yeah, I'm pretty satisfied with that. A lot better than where we started with. Well, all right, I think that went pretty well. I'm actually quite happy. I cleaned this up a little bit more. I still got a little bit of cleanup to do here and there, but for the most part, I'm going to take that win and run with it. we're gonna call this good, and unless I see something major, there's a little bit there I need to wipe off. Up in there's pretty good. That's not bad. Need to clean that out. I gotta wipe this all down with some paint thinner before I get too far in on painting it. And yeah, I'm not gonna take, I might sand some of this, get that rust off there at least. Ridge of grease there I gotta get. This tractor's just been a never-ending. Every time I think I'm making progress, it's like, nope, there's more grease, there's more grease. So we're getting close to calling it good. The wheels, I need to take the wheels off and paint them. I think that's what's going to end up happening. I think I want to pop these wheels off because I want to get these cleaned up so you can slide it in and out, because if the loader's not going to be on, there's no point in it being maxed out on the width, because that's just kind of harder to get on and off a trailer, you know, unless you have a max width trailer pretty much, because I think that's like 86 inches, 84 inches across, something like that. She's pretty wide in her current setting. Makes sense for a loader, not so much for a, I gotta come in and wire wheel all that. Makes sense for a loader, not so much for a normal tractor. Down in here, there was definitely a lot of grease buildup down here. And I still got a little bit here I might clean a little bit, but we're gonna go ahead and hit it with some Rust-Oleum 2x flat gray primer. I've been having really good luck with this stuff, being a undercoat for things. A lot of that Model A I ended up using this on. It's been working pretty well. Everything seems to adhere to it pretty decent. As you can see, that gray's been working pretty good. We got a decent, this is all rattle can. And I think I'm just going to rattle can the rest, because this turned out pretty decent. And these are okay. I know I got a little darkness in here. Yeah, carburetor and the air breather cap and the coil. But I've been using this Majic tractor, truck, and implement spray enamel, and it works pretty good. Definitely has an acetone smell. They changed the formula and they changed the cap. And I noticed that this stuff's a little bit more runny, so you gotta watch your runs, but it does dry onto a little shinier finish. Now I will say with that Majic paint, that's what all this Corvair is. And as you can see, it kind of loses its luster over the years. Does not keep it shine like Rust-Oleum kind of does. So you got to keep that in mind when you're using it. You're going to have to wax and buff a little bit more. Even if you put the hardener with it, it's still going to eventually dole out on you. But it's a pretty decent surface. This here has definitely got some nicks. I think a lot of that's from me mowing and blowing junk in here. I need to do something with this Corvair. I don't know what yet. Poor thing. It needs brakes, fuel tank, floor pans, all sorts of stuff, and I just don't know if I'm ever going to get to it. Yeah, it's kind of been up for sale. No one's really, they've made me offers and I said yes, and then they've never shown up to even look at it, so I don't know what the deal is there. Falcon, going to be getting that thing out this summer. Thinking about getting some of that Vice Grip Garage Shine Juice, putting it over this, because it's not bad, but it's definitely getting faded out. Now this paint job's like 8 years old. Is that how old it's getting? Something like that. I mean, I touched up the front fenders, and last winter I kind of resprayed the roof with some rattle can Rust-Oleum, but all this is sail blue Rust-Oleum. Anyway, it's turned into something else. Well, while we're at it, here's some Majic that's a lot older, and this was brushed on, so as you can see, it definitely does kind of fade out, but it holds on fairly well. It's doing pretty good for its age. Well, I guess we're going to let this dry out, and tomorrow, hopefully, we'll be laying some paint down, get this thing all on primer. I got to tape a few things off and do a little bit off camera, but hopefully we can lay some paint down and get this thing in primer. Is it going to be perfect? Absolutely not. It's going to be better than it was? Absolutely. The name of the channel is Past Preserver, not Past Perfectionist. So I don't have the time and money and put into making this thing absolutely perfect. It's an old tractor. It's going to get hopefully used. If it doesn't sell, I think I'm going to find a plow for it. I've got a garden back there. I've got a tiller. We could plow up the garden with it, use it for something like that. That'd be pretty cool. So let's go ahead and get some paint on this thing. In the meantime, I got to work on cleaning this. Well, we jumped ahead quite a bit. Tried a couple things. I wanted to move these wheels in, but yeah, whoopsie, that kind of snapped off. Didn't want to work out, so I guess they're just going to stay out for the time being. Oh well, at least we can get down in there and paint that. Went ahead and taped off all the, you know, important bits. I got a bag over the steering wheel. I'm not going to paint that because it really needs to be black. I tried taking it off. Won't come off. Not going to force it. Yeah. So it's coming along. Hopefully tomorrow. Well, or in a few minutes for you guys, we'll be laying paint down. Yeah, I know it's not perfect. There's still grease we're going to be painting over and stuff, but majority of it, what you're going to see is going to be good. The hood's going to be good. And let's be honest, it's a tractor. If it got this greasy once, it's going to get this greasy again. Well, maybe not to that point. Oh yeah, something else I noticed. There must have been a crack back here because there's been some pretty strong brazing that they've ground down. So maybe when it broke up here, something cracked in the back, or maybe this is from something totally different, but it's definitely been repaired. This poor tractor's seen a rough life. All right, shut her down. Well, it's the next day. Let's see about getting this thing in paint. And going to throw a tarp over the A real quick, just try and prevent any overspray because that vent fan is going to be pulling everything out that way. Otherwise, I could pull it, but I got to put the wheels back on this, back it out. That doesn't sound very fun. Guess we're just going to time lapse this real quick. What I'm going to take some paint thinner and a rag and just wipe everything down. This is why you always want to wipe stuff down before you paint it. Look at all the grease and dirt we got off there. Probably should have used the third rag, but that'll be all right. So we're going to start in on painting. I will say it doesn't look too terrible. It's definitely better than where we started at, especially down in here. There was a bunch of grease. So the A's kind of tarped up. We're going to come over here, kick our vent fan on. Highly recommend one of these if you got a shop. It makes a big difference for the heat, and you'll probably see the paint fumes get airborne and start coming this way. I did a good video on the Model A where I was cleaning the inside of this, and you could see all the dirt just rising and going out the fan. Since we got the door open and the fumes are all going to run that way, we're going to start at the back and work our way forward. All right, we got the Rust-Oleum. We're ready to go. That was one can. We got just about the whole rear end done. I messed up a little bit. It's a little runny. I left the cans on my heater vent just because I left it in the car last night and I didn't think to bring it in and warm them up. But I think I got them a little too warm, so it's definitely, you got to be quick with it. Otherwise it's going to come out way too thick. It's too runny. It's not thick enough. Anyway, we're going to move forward and get the front end in primer on the can number 2. Hey, it's looking all right to me. She ain't perfect, but definitely gonna be all the same color and look a lot better than it did. We got a few runs here and there, and that last can was, I don't know what its problem was, but it was starting to spew out. Sometimes cans like to do this, where they're spraying fine and then they just, it's like the seal goes bad or something and it just starts spurting around. The worst thing about that is it starts getting in your mix and then splattering and you get dots everywhere and it's really thick and that's not good. So, all right, we're good to go on this. I'm gonna go get some John Deere green paint and we'll let this set up and give her a second coat today. Got 4 cans of Majic. We're gonna see how well that works for us. We're gonna start at the front this time, just because I feel like it. Well, we ended up being 1 can short. We got some spots we missed and she still needs another coat. Bought some yellow. It was very runny. It just, that can of yellow didn't work out very well, but at least that's kind of painted up so I can throw the wheels back on it. You don't really see it too much anyway. And judging by how much grease was down there, it's probably going to end up with a bunch of grease over it eventually anyway. So up here, I really spent way more time on this than I needed to. That can probably could have been used elsewhere because outside of the front of it, you're never really, well, that's only if you're looking in the grill and at an angle. You're not really going to see much of that. Kind of wasted paint there. Overall, she's not too bad. We even got down in there fairly decent. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. I just wish I had one more can to finish it out. Back to Rural King. I don't know if I want to do that today or not. Yeah, I guess I probably ought to. Dang it, now I'm all covered in, that thing really oversprays a lot. I'm kind of covered in paint, especially being up from underneath there. I guess I'm gonna go back to Rural King. All right, had to go get one more can of paint. But boy, that yellow paint I picked up sure didn't do a very good job. I think something might have been wrong with that can. But it's kind of painted yellow. We'll throw the wheels back on there so I can roll it around. We may address that in the future. I don't know, but she's looking pretty good. Actually really happy with how this turned out. Getting into some of these nooks and crannies is always hard to do. You almost want to take all this apart, but how far apart did I want to take it? Nah, it's not much further than this, to be honest. I think we did all right. Definitely needed that lap. Actually, it was like a can and a half extra. Began to think I should have just bought a gallon, but Rural King didn't have any gallons on the shelf. So they do have it in stock. They just didn't have any in stock. Or they carry it, I should say. But yeah, really happy with how it's turning out. Look a lot better when we get all the tin work back on it. The tin work's definitely pretty decent. You know, that there's the battery box cover. That's the battery tray. Got to get to work on the hood though. She's got some, I pounded around. I got some of the deeper dents out where those hoses were sitting from the loader. It's not too terrible. There'll definitely be a little bit of waviness in it, but I don't think I'm gonna have to do a whole lot of Bondo body work on that. But up here, definitely, this was all pounded in. This was dinged down, if you remember. So I got that kind of more level. It's been repaired. I'm gonna hammer around on this, put some filler over it, try and sand it out a little smoother. There's a ding there, there's a deep ding there. Might try and fill that in, smooth it out. We'll get this done. We got hood, grill, fuel tank, drawbar, the air cleaner, and that should be about it. Nuts and bolts, all the nuts and bolts are over here. Gotta get those all cleaned up and painted, and it won't be long before this thing's back together and hopefully running again. So make sure you leave a like, hit subscribe for more, and I will see you in the next one. Sorry this video kind of went all over the place. Well, we pressure washed a bit, and then we primered it, and then we painted it. That's about all you got, but that's about all I did. It's just been such a fight trying to get this thing clean enough to paint. You know, it's been a real chore getting down in there, but we got it. We're on our way to making this a driver. I will see you in the next one. Leave a like, hit subscribe, and have yourselves a great day.